Good afternoon, everyone. Saturday afternoon, interview number 14 with the coaches. You are actually now. I'm 30% done with the Shore now. After we finish this, I have Shore Regional Coach Will Wishart. Will, thank you for joining me.
Hey, Nick, thanks for having me. And, this is awesome what you're doing, these interviews. And, I can't say enough. I know other coaches have said it, but what you're doing for these kids is, a thankless job, obviously, taking time out of your own schedule to do this. And it's growing the girls' game. And I'm biased because I think the girls' basketball in the Shore Conference is the best sport. And for you out there plugging it each and every day is great for these kids. And so thank you.
Yeah. I appreciate it. I got to see your team, quite a bit last year. Your staff is one of my, most favorite staffs in the Shore. I've told you that, your staff and, the Brick staff, I'm very high on your two staffs. So, no, I appreciate and I'm glad that, I got to know you and your staff better and, some of your players better. Getting into it, last season, above 500, Shore Regional, we know is soccer powerhouse and, field hockey and, you're building the basketball program. What was the message or, the goals you set last season when you were getting ready to start the season?
Well, I took over the program 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And that was actually my first senior class that went through from freshman year to the end of their senior year. And, we had 5 seniors last year. A 6th girl tore her ACL playing soccer, Nicole Generelli. But we had 5 girls, Caitlin Donegan, Lily Santee, Sydney Sears, Savannah Nodi, and Chloe Woolman. And our goal was simple with those 5 or 6 girls. And we said, be the best senior class that's come through this school in 10 years. Before I took over, we would have maybe 2 senior girls or 3 senior girls or 4 senior girls. But for a group like that kind of began on their travel teams called the Knights, to see that go all the way through. And our goal for them was to be the best senior class. Our goal for the entire team, we have short-term, we have long-term goals. Obviously, short-term goals is win every game, right? That's always our thought process. We don't care if we're playing the number 2 team in the state of New Jersey or we're playing, number 46 in the Shore Conference. Our goal is to always win the game. And then, through our division, which, I'm sure we'll talk about from last year, we said, let's go out there and pick off Goliath one time. And, we came up a little short once or twice. But that was our goals, right? Make small goals, big goals. We had game goals of how many threes we wanted to take. We tried to average over 20 threes a game, to try to take over 20 threes a game, get to the foul line at least 6 times a quarter. And when we were hitting those goals, it was a difference for us. So we had both short-term and long-term goals throughout that year for our girls.
What I noticed, going through your schedule last year, you definitely saw improvements, with the scores, against those better teams towards the end of the season. One game, I'm going to bring up, the St. Rose game at your gym. I wasn't there, but I was getting text messages from, Mike Farrell, which, he was very impressed with, Dragos and, Madison, which we'll talk about them a little later. What do you think the big improvement was from early in the year to, that point of the season where, you were almost able to knock off, one of those top Shore teams?
Well, it's funny. We walked out of the gym at St. Rose early on in the season, and our coaching staff, when you play those type of teams, right, you set little goals for your girls. But when we played a team like that, we walked out and we were disappointed with our effort the first time because we felt like we could hang with a team like that. There were things that we were doing that we didn't do well, whether it was defensively or on the offensive end or just making mental mistakes that our girls as seniors and Madison, who at the time was a 3-year starter, now going to be a 4-year, Riley as a freshman who has played, AAU all over the country. And so when we walked out of that gym back, I think it was in December or early January of last year, we said, we can hang with these guys. I definitely think that when we play a team like, Rumson twice and RBC twice and Manasquan twice, when you play those teams and you see that sort of pressure that you can't always replicate in practice, I just think that benefits us, And we've always kind of been that team where we say, all right, let's see how we did against when we used to play St. John Vianney or any of those schools. Let's see how we did the first time. And now we're going to go beat out there and beat what we did the first time, the second time. And we definitely obviously did that in that game. And, I was actually rewatching that game the other day, and it's just flashbacks. There's some games that I can watch 60 times, and there's games that just hurt my, my heart and my head just watching it going, oh, what did I do? Blaming myself, obviously, but yeah, no, we just want to see a long-term improvement with our girls each and every game.
You started off the year. You had the tournament at your place, right? Short in the Christmas tournament. Mm-hmm. You made it to the finals, and you beat Freehold, which is a good competitive team, and then you took Howell, which Howell had a couple starters that have been playing for them, good chemistry for a couple of years, and I know their girls play AU together, so they know how to play together. And you took them 2-point loss. What did it mean to start off the season beating a team like Freehold and almost winning the championship, the title for that winter tournament?
Well, Mike Stoya, who I know you had on the other day, coaching staff, we like to rank coaches' voices, and Mike Stoya has the best coaching voice in the short conference. That guy, he can yell, and these kids know exactly what he's saying. Where me, you hear my scratchy voice, the kids are like, what? But to beat a Freehold, I mean, we're a small school, but we're playing some of these schools that are 3-4 times the size of us, and to get that confidence against a great team like that, Hannah's amazing. Yep. The two twins are awesome. I know they have the soccer girl, and I know these names when I'm not talking to you, but when I'm talking to you, I go blank. But it just gives us confidence. It gave us a chance to see, what we do in practice is starting to transition into the games, and it just gives them that confidence, right? Sometimes when you're doing the same thing, not every day, but you're doing a lot of the same values every single day, and it's not translating into games, the kids get frustrated, and obviously. But in games like that, when you start to see, oh, that thing that we're doing, diving on the floor in practice, we do this drill. We've been doing this drill every day this season, trying to dive on the floor, close out a lot better. When we start to do that and it translates into the game, the kids realize, okay, now there's a purpose. There's that. The why we're doing it is starting to be there. The Howe game, Joe does a great job with the girls down there, and I have yet to get one off of him. The previous year we lost in the finals to them as well. But, again, coming down to the wire in a game where we were up and back and forth, that's just the atmosphere that you want to play in as a kid, and as a coach, and to have spectators there that aren't your parents that just wanted to come watch a game, which, I don't think my kids were used to before the last few years. It just gives them that confidence to go out there and compete with the St. Roses or the Manasquans or the RBCs.
You talk about, the spectators, and the game I had the most fun at I think I went to 64 games last season, was Rumson Shore, in the States. Your school showed up at Rumson. It was such a great atmosphere, made me miss my days when, I used to go to, the St. Rose games as a student. What does it mean, to the program, having that fan support come out, especially to an away game? I know, kind of crosstown rivals there, but and just for them to come out and show your support and root the team on. Well,
we are, like I said before, we're a small school. I like to compare it. We're like a mom and pop shop, right? Where everybody knows everybody, everyone. I joke with the kids in my classes. I say, somehow everybody in Oceanport's related, whether they're cousins or whatever the case may be. But I think at first, and you saw in the game, if you go back and watch it, at first our girls were a little shell shocked. They weren't ready for that type of atmosphere. But to have the kids there, I mean, that's a throwback. That's 5-10 years ago, I was seeing that in gyms, and it's got a little way. Obviously, this year we're not going to have as many fans. Hopefully that changes. I would love for that to change if things get better out there. Yeah. But just to have those kids, and I think when Riley, who I know we'll talk about that later, hit a shot in the corner of the second half, and they're chanting, "She's a freshman." Yeah. You can see that confidence where it's a whole new Riley. In the first half she struggled a little bit, but in the second half, you didn't know whether she was a freshman, a senior, a junior, a sophomore. Same with Madison, and we actually had a girl, Caitlin, who was our captain last year. I think we were down 11 or 12 at halftime, and she banged a three from about a foot behind. And, she had a couple threes throughout the year, but having the kids go nuts. And my girls, that was it. That's all they needed. And we were off and running in the second half.
Yeah, and like you said, the game had so much excitement. You were down, about 11 or 12 at halftime. Your team battled back, and Riley was night and day that game from her first half and second half. You could, just even in her body language.
Mm-hmm.
What was the big adjustment or the speech you gave at halftime, or to her, or to the whole team?
Well, to Riley, sometimes we pull her aside and we say, Riley, sometimes a bad shot for you is a good shot for us, right? And, you guys start, we'll always say, like, we'll use Steph Curry as an example. We'll say, Steph Curry is the best shooter in the world, right? And he shoots 40%. So, Riley Dragos, we love you, but you're not Steph Curry yet. There's still time for you to grow. But, so if you make 3 out of 10, okay, great. But the only way you're going to make a shot is if you take a shot. For us, for the adjustment at halftime, we have a style play. We had a defense last year, like a 1-2-1-1 half court press. We had a girl, Savannah, who was incredible up there. She didn't like to characterize herself as a basketball player or a soccer player. She was just an athlete. But between the lines for 32 minutes, there was not another girl I wanted on the court besides Savannah. She worked her tail off. My kids were dead. They were dead after that game. And that was really the adjustment. We wanted to speed them up. Dave, who I've coached against, Dave going back 10 years, we were both on the boys' side coaching at sub varsity, and he does a tremendous job with those kids. And I can't say enough about him. I think he's one of the best coaches in the short conference. But our goal was just simply, guys, we belong here. You belong here, right? You guys have been playing against these kids since you were in second, third, fourth grade, playing mid-Monmouth, AAU, rec bat, whatever the case may be. You belong with these kids. There's some of these girls that are going to go out and play in college. We didn't have anybody graduate and go and play in college this year for us, but you belong with them. And once they start to get that feeling, and then Caitlin comes out and bombs a three from deep, and then Madison starts getting on a little bit, and Riley gets that confidence. It was just a different game, and that's the game that you just want to play in, win, lose, or draw. You just have that atmosphere, and it's a memory that I hope our kids will remember for a while.
You brought up Savannah, which, I think I even asked you, when the season ended, I asked why you had her on top in your defense and you had, Riley, on the sides, because, Riley has the length. And when I rewatched the Rumson game, I saw why she was, you had her, where she was. And, you could tell she's just a natural athlete.
God.
Like she plays defense and stuff.
I had an official last year, midway through a game. True story, goes, where's this girl going to play in college next year? And I said, she's not. She's going to go to Virginia Tech and be an academic person out there at Virginia Tech. And he goes, I'll call you tomorrow. My daughter coaches out in somewhere. I forget where he said. And, she was just an athlete. You know what I mean? Like, and she drove me insane sometimes, but she was a great kid, and we'll miss her this year. We'll move on, obviously. But, yeah, she was, for as much as teams had to, I think, scout personally for Riley and Madison, Savannah was the X factor throughout last season for us. And I think, talking to a lot of the coaches that we played against, they would always bring her name up. Like, this girl, Nodi, where did she come from? So,
Yeah, I enjoyed, I think the first game I saw your team play was against Ocean. And, she stuck out a little bit, and, I didn't know much about her at the time. Fast forward, move to this season, we talk regularly. What are some challenges you're seeing, with COVID that you think you're going to see during the season? I know, sure, when, they went through it with soccer, or after the first game, they had that, positive, Rumson had the positive, but they played each other. And they had a switch. Are you guys keeping your varsity and JV separate first?
Not right now. We actually been hit with the quarantine bug a little bit. We started the first day with about 12 girls, just because about 8 or 9 are quarantining. We just got back a couple more girls. We have a couple girls that are coming back next week to us. So right now, our message to the girls is just treat each practice, treat each game like it's your last. And I know that's such a cliche thing to say, but it really is. Yeah. You know, we have a couple girls that play lacrosse, and we mentioned to them saying, you know, a lot of your seniors last year that played lacrosse, they lost their senior season. Yeah. You know, and they didn't get an opportunity to have that many practices or have a scrimmage or have a game. And, you know, we just tell them every day, we're going to go out there, we're going to roll the ball out, and for 2 hours, we're going to go to war, and this could be it. And if it's it, don't leave anything on the table, you know. In terms of the challenges, I think Stoya mentioned it in your interview, the conditioning, obviously, and then the time restraints. You know, usually I have about 17, 18 practices before our first game. This year, we're probably going to get to about 11 to 12. So, like, you know, the balance I have is, do I do more install or conditioning, or do we try to mix both in? I think we've done a good job this year of getting up and down. We're scrimmaging a ton more, because I said that's the only way we're going to learn. Is we're going to have to scrimmage more. We're going to put things in on the fly. We'll correct, and then, you know, we'll do 2 or 3 trips down the court, correct 2 or 3 trips down the court. So that's the big challenge, is just not having as much time as we normally have.
Yeah, and you know, the coaches, you were restricted also during the summer. You know, they you know, narrowed, you know, the time you had with your team during the summer, which is a lot of the coaches were bringing up, you know, trying to help build, you know, the chemistry, you know, between players that were already there, so, you know, whatever new faces you have coming in. I want to, you know, we'll start going through, you know, your roster. We'll start with the seniors. Obviously, you know, it starts with Madison LaRosa. Great little player, could score any way she wants, pretty much. She could drive, you know, she's like, to me, she's like a little bulldog when she drives. She could get to the line. She's consistent at the foul line, and she knocks down the 3, you know, pretty consistently. What are you expecting out of her, and what's the thing you kind of want her to pass down to the underclassmen, you know, since she's one of your senior leaders?
You know, Madison has come a long way. I remember walking into the gym when she was playing middle school, her 8th grade year, and she had like these Superman socks on with capes on, and I'm saying, oh my God, what is this girl going to get? What am I going to get into with this girl? But I'll tell you what, she is tough, man. She is just like I think you said it perfectly. She's a bulldog. You know, she never gets too high, never gets too low during the games. You know, she'll get frustrated here and there when the shot's not going in, or whatever the case may be. But I just think her poise has come such a long way from the time she was a freshman to now, or 8th grade to now. You know, for us, she's got to be a leader both on the court by example and vocally off the court. Now, we don't expect her to be off the court too much. But, you know, the expectation is to get our offense to go. And then defensively, you know, we ask a lot out of her. When we go play man, she's guarding the other team's best guard, right? You know, as a sophomore, before Riley got here, we asked Madison at times to get us into an offense, score the ball, go play the other team's best player, and then go run our transition offense. But for her, you know, passing down to the younger kids is just that grit, that toughness, that, you know, even though the best player at the practice or the second best player at the practice, I'm going to dive on the floor for that loose ball. You know, it's not above me to do that. You know, I'm going to go set out a screen here and there to get my teammate a shot, because I know that's going to give us the best chance to win. And she's doing that right now, and I know she's going to continue to do that. And so we're hoping that the younger players that just watch that, and that's what builds a true program, is the younger kids take what the other kids are doing and continue it.
Another junior who, you know, was significant to your team this year, Cassie. Looking at her stats, a lot of rebounds. She's you know, 81 rebounds, which is pretty good. What do you expect her role to be, you know, this season?
She's the backbone of this team. You know, she really is. She's a kid that when times are a little too serious, she's the first one to make a joke. But she's an undersized post that we transitioned to a post. She played primarily guard her freshman and sophomore year, and we kind of told her, listen, you're going to be more of that stretch 4, stretch 5 for us. That's what we envision you and getting on the court for us to do. and she'll go and bang with Allie Carmen if she has to, and then if we need her to, she'll go and try to guard an Abby Antinola a little bit. She's kind of done it all. She's a little bit like a Swiss Army knife for us. If she could bang on the boards, play great defense, and be that vocal leader, that's all we can ask for. And let me tell you, I'm willing to bet she sets the best screens in the short conference. I'm willing to put that bet right now, and I would love any coach to challenge me on that. That girl just sets hard screens. And even today after practice, one of my seniors go, "Oh my God, Cassie, that screen!" That's just the type of kid she is. She'll do it all. So that's what we're hoping for with her.
You had 2 other juniors on your roster, Sam, right? Sam
Carew
and Megan. What do you expect their roles to be? This season.
Well, those two, they were kind of put in a tough spot the last few years. We had a large group of seniors, like I mentioned before, that graduated, and I play only about 7 or 8 kids. And most schools do, right? That you get the only way you're going to get in rhythm is the more you play. They waited their turn. They've been good teammates, and their role is simply to come out and continue on what the kids did from last year. All right, whether it's do the dirty work like we talked about with Cassie, or hit that open shot. Know that their time will come, and when they're open, let it fly. That's what we're looking for them.
Yeah. Next player, I want talk about Riley. One of the best freshmen in the shore. I like you said. Sometimes she, her body language was like, not so confident. And then in the second half, some games I was at, completely different player, and type player that could do it all. She could probably play any position you ask her to. What kind of jump do you expect her to make from her freshman year? Because like you said, sometimes she did not look like a freshman. She looked like a seasoned veteran out there. And one example was the Rumson game. Madison got a little fired up. I think she got tangled up with the player, and Riley ran over and pulled her aside and calmed her down. And you don't really see that from freshmen, doing that. Your senior leaders usually are the ones that, which to me, spoke volumes about, Riley's character and, her mindset.
She's another, the previous 4 kids you mentioned, they're awesome kids, and she falls right in line with them. Both, academically, she's one of the top girls in her class. But for us, going forward, the sky's the limit. The sky's truly the limit for this girl. Her work ethic, even when we have, days off, she wants to get in the gym. She's a total gym rat. This off season, I didn't have to worry about her doing things on her own, because I just know that she has that type of motivation. It's funny. She's a girl. I was talking to her a couple days before the season. I'm like, "Are you ready?" And she goes, "I don't know. I think I could have done more to get ready." And I know what she does. She was playing for Team Rio over the summer. She was playing for us in the fall league. That moment that you're talking about with the Rumson game, that's just the type of kid she is. That's the type of kid she is, and she's just an all-around great player and a great person, and that's a testament to the parents that she has. But for her this year, we just want to see her continue to step up and do what she did last year, but more. It's funny, you mentioned that she could play any position. She never really played the point guard before she came to us. I tricked my wife into a date night, and we went to go watch her play at the Run for the Roses. She was playing some team, whatever the case may be, and she was playing more of the 2 off-ball guard. And we walked out of the gym, and I said, "If this girl comes to shore next year, she's going to be my point guard, without a doubt." And day one, she was injured at the beginning of last season. She sprained her ankle, I believe, at like an AAU tournament about a month or so before the season. So it was a little slow getting her back into the things. But when she was fully healed, about a couple days before our opening game at RBC, we had been running our offense one way, and I said, "All right, Riley, take the ball. Here it is." And she gave me a look. And that was it. And with Riley, few words, Riley. We call her the Kawhi Leonard on our team. Very few words, but you tell her something, she'll give you a nod, and she goes out and does it.
Yeah.
And she's just a coachable, lovable kid. And I can't wait to see the maturation that she has from freshman year to sophomore year, and then to junior year, senior year. Because, like I said before, the sky is the absolute limit for this girl.
Yeah, and freshman, she put up some really good numbers. Over 300 plus points, 100 plus rebounds. Which is and even probably the most impressive stat. Led your team in assists with she had 77 assists, which just shows you she could do it all, and she could get her teammates involved too. Even though she's most times probably going to be the best player on the court, but get everybody else involved.
Listen, I'll tell you this: if I was a kid, I would love to go play with Riley Dragos. If I had a choice to go play at a couple different schools, and I saw Riley, listen, she's a willing passer. There are times where we have to force her to want to look at her own shot. She'll find you and she'll put it in the spot where you want it. And that's the type of kid I know as a former player. I know you played. That's the type of kid I want to play with.
Yeah, and and I think like her passing is underrated.
Mm-hmm.
So who else, because you did play a lot of seniors last year, graduated. Who else that was on your roster last year you're expecting to have bigger roles this season?
There's a girl, Kayla O'Scanlan. She was a sophomore guard last year. We put her in a big spot when she was a freshman. We were playing up north somewhere somehow it was a Central Jersey Group 2 second round game, and we had to go up there, and literally girl never played a minute of varsity time, but in the fourth quarter we were down by like 6 or 7. We threw her in, and she rose to the challenge. So we're hoping that now as a junior, she's had 2 years in our program. We're expecting things from her. We have another girl, Julian Zelli, who has gotten some time in the past. She has, she's a long, wiry frame. We're hoping that she comes around. We do have a freshman, Antoinette Russo, who had a pretty good fall for us. She kind of stepped up to the plate throughout the fall. She kind of got better and better each time we were out there in the fall league down at Wall. And then there's other seniors that that have kind of waited their turn, and we'll see if they get the opportunity. We have a scrimmage coming up on Wednesday. Angelina Russo, Jackie Miller, Jenna Sapkowski. And then there's some other girls that, for the first time are coming out playing for us. Others, I recruit kids from other sports in our school. A girl like Clara Ford and Rory McDonough, both are soccer girls that they're out for us right now. So they have, Claire's been with us. Hopefully she continues to mature, and maybe she'll be ready for us at some point this season. Rory hasn't touched a basketball since 8th grade, but already in 4 days of practice, the improvement. So while we have this nucleus, there are some girls that we think can give us a look at some point this year, but we'll find out shortly.
Yeah, everybody, you follow Shore Sports, everybody knows the McDonough family. The soccer superstars.
I finally got one. I was 0 for 4. Finally got one.
And Ford was she made one of my all-shore teams as a defender. She's a very, very good player. I want to we'll go through your schedule real quick before we wrap up. You're definitely in one of the more competitive divisions. You have RBC, Red Bank Regional, Rumson. Talk your schedule and playing the tougher teams in the Shore. I mean, this season there's no real postseason, but a lot of people say tough regular season helps you for the postseason. So just talk a little bit about your schedule.
Well, we opened up with Monmouth. Another coach I think is underrated is Laura Forbes. I know that the wins don't tally up sometimes, but that doesn't mean she's not an excellent coach, because she's fantastic. And then after that, we head over to RBC and listen, roll the ball out. You get to go play a girl that's going to Tennessee. You get to go play a girl that's going to Boston College. Let's go. Let's see what we can do against girls like that. And then after that, I think we go with Long Branch, who I think Shannon last year. I'm not sure how many girls they have coming back, because we didn't really cross paths too much with them last year. But another coach of the year from last year. We play Ocean. Mike Laser does a great job there. I know he's got a incoming freshman that's pretty good. We have Brick Memorial at some point. I'm not really sure what Tom has coming back. And then, like you said, we wrap up with RBR, who, there's a reason why they call him the Bill Parcells of short conference coaches. The guy, it doesn't matter who he has. The guy gets 15 wins every year at least. And I know they have Teeter, who is just an excellent player. I believe she going to NYU.
Yes.
NYU. So, listen, our goal is simple. Go out there, win each game, right, and improve. And, if we're not in that top 8, which I know that not many people are expecting us to be, let's go be in the next 8. Let's go, if we're the 16 seed in the next 8, so what? Let's go. And if we got to go down and play Jackson Memorial, listen, guys, there's only so many games this year. Let's do it, or whoever that 9 seed would be. Jackson as a I don't want Rachel to get mad at me. So listen, our goal is simple. Each and every game, just get better, and that's it. Get better, and then let the chips fall where it lies in that 8-team tournament. Because I already told my AD, if we win our little pod, we're putting a banner up. So I don't care. Field hockey and soccer get to do it.
I think I was at a game where the soccer team was putting the banner at one of your games. I think you were playing Allentown, and they were doing the banner at halftime for that. Yeah, you got to get a banner up there.
I told him I'll buy it myself. I'll put the banner up. Did over my dead body. I was like, all right, well, I'll do it anyway.
Talking about the pods and postseason, is that something you would like to see maybe in the future? Instead of where the main short conference tournament has 22 teams, make it a little smaller, and then because a couple coaches brought that up, they kind of like that idea. Break it down, have a couple different tournaments based on record in your division. And
well, I think it's two ways. I do think for example, last year there were a lot of great teams that made the short conference, right? Yeah. But when you're in a division like we're in, being 500, right? It just seems like it's an outdated system almost. Like that has to be the cutoff. Like you saw in Central Jersey Group 2 last year, Raritan High School, I don't even remember the seed. What were they, the 3 seed, 4 seed? And they got to the semifinals, right? Sorry, the 14th or the 13th seed.
Yeah, they were.
And that's a team that wasn't even close to making the short conference, Yeah. So I think that's one thing that we have to look at is just say, all right, the 500 rule, they don't do it for states anymore. Why are we still doing it in short conference? Because again, if you're in that division where you're playing the Manasquan, St. Rose, RBCs, it just doesn't seem like it's equitable that, a division that doesn't have those teams might have an easier path to get in. I don't know. I'm going to flip it on you for a second. You go to all these games. You've been interviewing all these people. What do you think we should do?
I think it needs to be changed. Look, your division last year was brutal. It just, and not just for even St. Rose going up against Madison, RBC twice. Rumson.
Yeah.
That was the best division in the state. By far, and then you could see it by, just the state tournament. Unfortunately, that whole division was in the same group almost. Take out the 2 private schools. And all the team, like Raritan had a good run. Rumson, Manasquan in the finals. You took Rumson to the to the end of the game. It's just it does need to be changed a little bit. I don't know how it is. I do have to say, Dawn, when I had Dawn on, she said that you were working on or I don't know exactly what you work on, but she called you out saying, you were working hard trying to get it where more competitive divisions and, where it'd be beneficial to all, every team. So
that just speaks volume. I mean, Dawn is one of those coaches, and I love Dawn. She's one of those coaches that she doesn't care who she's going to go play. She's going to go play, right? If it's the number 1 team in the country, she'll go. Her girls are going to play them. So for her to want a more balanced system speaks to the person that she is. She's a better person, and she's a fantastic coach, but she's a 10 times better person. So with that, there just has to be something better, right? And I know that the ADs this year, it was a difficult job. Their number 1 goal is just to get those kids out there and playing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think now that we've seen that there can be changes and this is a viable option, why not try something new? Because we know what we can fall back to. We know that this is a system that we can fall back to. Yeah. So let's go out and try something new. And if it doesn't work, then we'll try something new. If it doesn't work again, okay, we'll try something new.
And I think that's another point Dawn brought up was a good year to try some things out because, it's a small season, no state playoffs. It was a good thing to see what will work and stuff. So, we'll see going forward.
Yeah, I mean, listen, someone's always going to be upset with their seed.
Yes.
Someone's always going to be upset. So to try to figure out, like, again, there's a big difference between being 8-9 or 7-10 or 15-16, right? But you're going to have problems. Okay, let's figure it out and let's see if we can find a better system than what we're doing. And I know we can, because there's a lot of smart people in the short conference. There's a lot of coaches willing to see a change, and I think that now the ADs are willing to try something new. The problem is that we are tied to the boys, but I said, let's put 5 boys coaches, 5 girl coaches, 5 ADs, lock them in a room, and they're not coming out until we have a better system.
And one thing I think they should do, whatever they come up with the girls, it should be completely just the girls, because everyone knows the talent.
Yeah.
In girls basketball, people, boys side might get mad, but girls short conference basketball to me is better, and boys short conference basketball. Yeah, so the fact that talking to the coaches, it seems it was based off what they wanted to do with the boys divisions and stuff, which to me it should be the opposite.
Yeah,
but that's me. I'm biased to the girl sports around here.
No, there's a system. There's a way to do it, and like I said before, there's plenty of people that are motivated on all sides to see a change. And I'm excited, and I'm putting the pressure on at least my athletic director, who's great, to continue to be that voice of person, because he is. We talk constantly, and he says I want to see a change too. So I'm going to hold him to his word, because he knows I'll call him and text him, or I'll be down in his office every day.
Real quick before I let you go, who was the other teams you were able to pick up? Because you were able to add 2 games?
Yeah, we picked up Ocean just because it is, I don't think people think Ocean and Shore is a rivalry, but I like to call it the Battle of Whale Pond Road, because that's the road that kind of separates us. Yeah. And then we have a pretty good relationship with Brick Memorial. We like playing them. They like playing us. We usually play each other at the end of every season. Okay. So Tom's a great guy, and he's the, I said before about Stoya being the best coaching voice. Yeah. I think Tom is probably the best dress coach in the short conference. So I always try to compete with him in that game.
That's funny. All right, I'm gonna let you go. I appreciate you taking time out after practice. So just great that everyone's back out there on the court, and hopefully, I am going to try to sneak into some games. We'll see.
We'll get you a yellow jacket that says security. Get you in.
Yeah. The only thing I feel bad is for the senior parents, but I'm working on some things. Hopefully, to help the schools out and help get more publicity to the girls and stuff. So.
Yeah. Everybody out there, if you're still watching me, subscribe to this channel. This guy's amazing. Let's get more subscribers.
Yes. I appreciate the more subscribers, the better it looks for me too, and I could start expanding this more.
Good man. Good.
All right, thanks, Coach. I appreciate you joining me.
Thank you.